By now, we've probably heard all the negative things about the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. Yes, it has bad battery life. It doesn't have a wide-angle camera sensor. It's too expensive. And the storage capacity is horrible. And while those things are true, this is still my favorite Android device. And here's why. Hey guys, welcome to Retethered. My name is Jonathan, and let's talk about the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. It's been about 9 months since the Pixel 4 was officially released, and it was heavily criticized when it was released. And rightly so, because the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL have a lot of drawbacks to it. And we'll get into that, but I'm also going to talk about why I still use the Pixel 4 today. So let's start off with the first negative thing about the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4 XL, battery life. Yes, battery life isn't very good, but it isn't as bad as you might think or as some people made it seem. I currently have the Pixel 4 XL, and this one has a 3700 milliamp hour battery. The smaller Pixel 4, which I also owned before, has only a 2800 milliamp hour battery. And the Pixel 4, I will say the smaller version is noticeably worse than the Pixel 4 XL, but it's still not as bad as you might think. I would actually say that the Pixel 4 XL's battery life is pretty decent. It gets me through a full day. I have to end up charging it at the end of the day, but it's not too bad. It's not going to win any battery performance awards. It's not going to be the battery champ smartphone of the year or anything like that, but it's pretty good, pretty decent, I would say. It does come with wireless charging, and 18-watt fast charger is included in the box, so that kind of makes up for the battery life. But just keep that in mind, it's not as bad as people make it seem. The Pixel 4 is worse. The smaller version was worse for me, but the Pixel 4 XL is a decent smartphone when it comes to battery life. Now let's get into the second thing bad about the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL, storage capacity. The Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL start at only 64 gigabytes of storage, and you can increase that storage capacity for $100 more to 128 gigabytes. That's it. Those are the storage options for the Pixel 4, and that is ridiculous. That is so horrible. You don't have the option to expand storage with an SD card or anything like that. And even Google removed the free Google Photos cloud storage that they offered with the other Pixel phones. You don't get that with the Pixel 4 or Pixel 4 XL, which is kind of confusing. Why did Google remove that? I don't know. Why did Google put such a low storage capacity on these phones? I don't know. So just keep that in mind when you're buying this phone. Storage capacity is not very good. And that's what makes the really good feature about this phone kind of confusing. This has a really good camera. So let's get into the camera. If you're going to use this phone to take a lot of pictures, and that's what this phone is kind of meant for, to take really good pictures because the camera is really good. You don't have a lot of storage to store those photos on this phone. So that's what makes it really confusing why Google only put 64 gigabytes to start with and they ended it at 128. That makes it really confusing to me. So you're gonna have to subscribe maybe to a cloud service like Google Photos or Dropbox maybe to store all those photos that you take on this phone. But let's continue to talk about this camera because this is still one of my favorite cameras on a smartphone. The pictures that it's able to take still blow me away. Yes, it doesn't have a wide-angle camera sensor. And instead, Google added a second camera sensor this year, but they put a telephoto lens, which kind of confused everyone, right? But the pictures that this phone gets is still really good. Night mode is really good. Probably, in my opinion, the best night mode on a smartphone. And what Google does that's really interesting, it doesn't rely on hardware. It doesn't rely on a bunch of camera sensors to get good pictures or a bunch of megapixels inside those camera sensors. Instead, Google relies on software. It uses computational photography to get the best pictures from the hardware. And that's what makes this phone really, really special. Portrait mode is still really, really good. You could get nice, crisp bokeh effects on this phone. And like I said, night sight mode is still really, really impressive in my opinion. Video isn't that impressive in my opinion. It's a decent camera when it comes to video. You could do 4K on it, but it's only 30 frames per second, which is also a little confusing. Maybe they didn't want you to take up too much storage on this phone with 4K video at 60 frames per second because it only comes with 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage. But let's move on from that. Up front, the selfie camera is a decent camera sensor. I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't take too much selfies. But what's interesting is that up front, they also put a face unlock feature. So there's no fingerprint sensor, but face unlock on the Google Pixel is my favorite face unlock on any smartphone except for maybe the iPhones with Face ID. It's quick, it's easy, it works almost every single time, and I never have issues with it. And I've come to the point where I actually prefer face unlock over having a fingerprint sensor. I don't know, for me it's just a little bit more convenient. It's a little inconvenient when you're outdoors and now you have to have a mask on and it doesn't recognize you. But for any other situation, I love having face unlock on this phone. And hopefully, there's rumors that the Pixel 5 is going to get rid of face unlock. I hope that's not true because I really truly enjoy face unlock on the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. Now, the other thing that really keeps me coming back to this phone or sticking with this phone is the software experience. I personally just love the software experience on the Pixel phone. I'm the type that likes to have the latest software as soon as it's released. And you get that with the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. You get that with pretty much any Pixel phone. Google supports its devices for, I believe, at least 3 years. But that's the best thing about having a Pixel phone. You know that you're going to get software updates and you get kind of this clean and easy software experience. Google has...
Something went wrong. Try again.
Google has built in a lot of... for example, one thing I like about the software is the gestures. Google has these gestures built in now to navigate the phone. And if you don't like them, you can always go back to those software buttons that are at the bottom. But I personally have gotten really used to the gestures. It's really easy to use. And once you get used to it, you can navigate this phone a lot quicker than using those back buttons and the home buttons that were on the bottom of the Android phones before. But now let's get into price, because that's what really makes or breaks this phone for a lot of people. The Pixel 4 starts at $799 for 64 gigabytes of storage, by the way, if I didn't mention that before. So $800 for this smartphone for the smaller version. The Pixel 4 XL starts at $899, so about $900 for the Pixel 4 XL. That's pretty expensive for a smartphone. It's not the most expensive smartphone. I mean, I think Samsung and the Galaxy S20 Ultra took that title for the most overpriced smartphone you can buy, but it's still not cheap. Also, keep in mind that Google is constantly discounting this phone. If you can buy this phone for $200 to $300 cheaper than the starting price it is right now, that's a really good deal. In fact, I bought my Pixel 4 XL for about $400 cheaper than it is right now. So instead of the $900, I bought this for $500. So Google has done this a few times already since they released this phone. So you have to kind of look out for those discounts. And if you're able to grab this phone at a cheaper price, I mean, it's hard to beat, in my opinion. So in conclusion, yes, this phone's a little too expensive for what you get. The battery life isn't all that great. Storage capacity is horrible, but this phone has a really, really good camera for a smartphone. It also has a really good and clean software experience, and you know you're going to get software updates for at least the next 2 to 3 years. Now, is it worth it? That's going to be up to you. But for me, those two pros outweigh those 3 cons personally, and that's why I still love my Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. What do you think of the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL? Google is planning to release the Pixel 4a pretty soon, hopefully. Who knows? They keep pushing back that date. But are you interested in the Pixel 4a instead? Let me know with a comment down below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos just like this one on tech news, reviews, and opinions, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching.